sunshine. Sunshine. Everybody loves the sunshine. Sunshine. Folks get down in the sunshine. Sunshine.
Boroboy, this is Olu Fakola Dev Idinkai Ifa Temple. We welcome you to our Ifa Temple service today. I want to begin with a special prayer from the Odu Ifa Ikameji before we even begin. Ifa, please support us. Ikameji o. There is a high wind blowing from this side. There is a serious storm blowing from that side. The heaven is in great turbulence. None knows where the rain will fall. Everyone is running helter-skelter. Rainfall cannot start from the other side. For one to suddenly shift to the other side, these Ifa's declarations for Akapo, where when evangelizing Ifa the world over, Ifa, don't you see my hand? I had been suffering everywhere because of you. I do not eat until I reach home of Olu. Ifa, don't you see my hands? Here are my palms, Ifa. I do not drink until I reach Oke Ora. Ifa, don't you see my hands? I had been suffering everywhere because of you. Here are my palms, Ifa. I neither ate nor drank until I reached Okegeti, the home of Agbaniregu. Ifa, don't you see my hands? Here are my palms. I had been suffering everywhere because of you. Ifa, I had been reliably informed that you put peace and harmony into my life. Ifa, I had been reliably informed that you ensured a peaceful death for Owaoba, who is also known as Owagiri Ibedu, offspring of those who greet each other with Okunyeye, he who fights and strikes the base of the sword against the ground. Ifa, please ensure peaceful end for me too. On the day of my death, ensure that good children are available to ride on horses after my departure. Ifa, please support us. Ifa, I ask that you would ward off all death, ward off all sickness, ward off cases, controversy, ward off fights, litigation, losses and outright fights, ward off all evil and danger from all of us, all of our family members, all of our loved ones. Ifa, support us. I ask that today we will be able to hear a word from you. I ask that you remove my ego out of the way so we can hear from you, Ifa. Ima kami mene amo, ima kami mene ano, ima kami mene adeloko, itamole tori Ifa lonimi, ebora timpanimi, ene banani awon ati Ifa lelejo. Ifa, please push away all the ajoku from us. Bring forth to us long life, wealth, good spouse, good children, longevity, good children, healing and protection for our families. Ifa, we ask that you would support us on the Odu Oshe Arola, turning out the feet of Tubu, the stripe of a chameleon is not big enough to use his head here. Had it been enough to use his head, I would have taken it home and done my head with it. These be Father's declarations to Arola. We're going on spiritual mission to Ejebu. We can't look at themselves, we can't salsa make a rich. We can't Arola. Oshe Arola, so that I will Oshe Tura. I kick in a baggy side, the axe sharply against a tree, castify for a rumbling husi, iba, and I share from Olodamare. If an award tells you you should be wealthy, surely be wealthy. I kick in a baggy side, in the mouth. An award resides, iba, and I share in the mouth of an award. If an award tells you should have joy, you should surely have joy. I kick in a baggy side, in the mouth of an award resides, iba, and I share in the mouth of an award. If an award tells you should have victory, you surely have victory. I kick in a baggy side, in the mouth of an award resides, iba, and I share in the mouth of an award. Talk and sing, maybe so surely shall it be. Àṣẹ. Àṣẹ òrìṣà lẹ́nu mi ò, àṣẹ òrìṣà lẹ́nu mi. Bọ́bọ́ tí mo bá màmá wí o, ìrúnmọlẹ̀ ó bà, Ifá ó bà o, àṣẹ òrìṣà lẹ́nu mi. Àbí mo ń dúró tí mo ṣúrẹ́, bí mo ń bẹ̀rẹ̀ tí mo ṣúrẹ́, bí mo kúnlẹ̀ tí mo ṣúrẹ́, bí mo jókòó tí mo ṣúrẹ́, ire tí mo ṣú orí ti bọ́. Orí ẹni làrúrẹ ìyẹnì o, orí ẹni làrúrẹ ìyẹnì. Ojúlọ́mi ò fà wá mọ́rí, orí ẹni làrúrẹ ìyẹnì. Àṣẹ. Bọ̀bọ̀rẹ̀ jáàzú, Ifá ò bà lọ́rùn, àdìbàtà jù, Ifá ò bà lọ́rùn, ó ṣe àrò ìlà Ifá ti bọ́. Olodumare and the divinities, we ask that you would continue to push away death, push away sickness, push away cases and controversy, ward our fights, litigation, losses, and outright fights from us. Bring forth to us long life, wealth, good spouse, good children, peace of mind, joy, healing, success, and all good things of life. We ask that you would hear our prayers and sustain us through challenging times. Help us to hear a word of Ifa. Ashe Aboru, Aboye, Aboshishe, Agboato. Thank you all once again for joining us. I am Oluo Fakolode of Idinka Ifa Temple in McDonough, Georgia. We thank you for joining us today. I ask you to please like and share, and then tell us where you were from in the comments. I want to begin today's discussion with a definition, because today we're going to talk about vulnerability and what does it mean to remove the mask of false strength. What does it mean to be vulnerable? Well, to be vulnerable, vulnerability means that you have exposed yourself, your authentic self, with the risk of emotional hurt and or rejection. A willingness to show emotion or to allow one's weakness to be seen or known. So some of these things might not be favorable for everyone because, everyone doesn't like to be seen as weak. Everyone does not like to be seen and seen past their facade. We live in a time today where we say, never let them see you sweat. That is the mantra. And as a result of saying, never let them see you sweat, we wear a facade of strength and uphold that facade. And when we uphold this false sense of strength, oftentimes we're being torn up inside. Paul Laurence Dunbar wrote a very powerful poem during the New Negro Renaissance era of the late 20s, 30s. He says, we wear the mask that grins and lies. It hides our cheeks and shades our eyes as if debt we pay to human guile. With torn and bleeding hearts, we smile. And mouth with myriad subtleties, why should the world be otherwise? In counting all our tears and sighs, nay, let them only see us while we wear the mask. We smile, but oh great Christ, our cries to thee from tortured souls arise. We sing, but oh, the clay is vile beneath our feet and long the mile. But let the world dream otherwise. We wear the mask. When we look at this concept, Paul Laurence Dunbar was speaking about some very interesting things of that era that are still around today. This aspect of W.B. Du Bois' double consciousness, of showing us a specific facade in order to protect yourself from being hurt on the inside. That's one. Another one is in order to go out into the world, we have to strap up and armor up and wear a facade that hides our vulnerability. And oftentimes when we wear this facade of strength, we're being eaten away from the inside out, and especially if we do not take the mask off at some point, that mask, that facade of strength, then becomes your prison. When you wear that facade, oftentimes people think, oh, they're tough, they're durable, they're strong enough to handle it. They can shoulder the pain, they can shoulder the burden. This poem discusses that facade. To smile when you really feel like crying, to keep up appearances, this is the face that becomes a prison. Ifa says in Ombarashe, Bara se king, se pepe. He was the awo cast Ifa for the cockroach when going to buy the cock as a slave. He was advised not to do so. He simply ignored the warning. The cockroach bought the cock as his slave and put the cock in a cage. The cockroach then went into the cage to inspect his newly acquired slave. The cock then swallowed the cockroach. The cock ate his master. The cock's slavery period has now ended. So when we think about this, we're looking at this concept of an individual who has a false sense of strength and superiority within a situation. And that is the embodiment of the cockroach. You can call it arrogance. This is the ability to place yourself beyond your capacity. The cockroach was saying he was good. He had it together when he really didn't have it all together. This is the mask of false strength that becomes a facade, and this, as a result, put the cockroach into a position where he was beyond his means, he was beyond his true abilities. How can a cockroach handle a rooster? How can you control that beast, especially when you are food? That is a gross and egregious misrepresentation of self that ultimately led to the destruction of the cockroach. Let us analyze further Ifa. Ifa says in Eroson Abola o Fere Gege o Fere Difa Fun Era, the ant, who will be carrying a load that is much bigger than himself. He was advised to offer Abo. He complied. What you are carrying is bigger than you. Ofere Gege Ofere, become light and easy to carry. Ifa, you are the one who will help me carry it. This is so interesting because when we look at the ant, oftentimes when you see an ant, you don't see the ant. You see the thing the ant is carrying. You see a leaf moving on the ground. You see a chunk or a crumb moving on the ground. And beneath it is the ant. So you see what the ant is carrying. You see the load that the ant has. In this verse, Ifa says, what you are carrying is bigger than you. Ofere gege ofere, become light and easy to carry. Ifa, you are the one who will help me carry it. This is the point of the verse, and also this is the point of this sermon. When we think about the facade that we carry, the mask of invulnerability, that ultimately becomes cargo. It becomes a load. It weighs on you. And yes, the ant is strong, but when Ifa says, Ifa, you are the one who will help me carry it, or become light and easy to carry. This is a very powerful Ifa command that is essentially lifting up the load and making the load more manageable. The ant is strong, but the ant also knows how to tap into power. So when we think of this, my question to everyone is, where is your power? We wear these facades, we wear these masks, and they represent false strength and all of these things, but ultimately, where is your power? Where is your power? Another verse of Eroso Abola Ifa says, he who behaves gently will die gently. He who behaves violently will die violently. There is the need for us to display meekness in our character so our children will be able to lay us to our final resting place. These are Ifa's declarations to Alola. The same was declared for Aroni. Ifa is saying here, it is important to live your life in the way you want to essentially be remembered, as well as to live your life in the way that you want to end it. I know my grandmother would always say, so you live, so you die. So if you live a life of violence and wretchedness, you will die a life, or you will die a death that is violent and wretched. If you live a life of gentle character, your life will end in gentle character. In this regard, Ifa is saying meekness and goodness of character, gentle character. In this regard, that aspect of humility is power. Knowing where the true source of power is important. So, where is the source? Humor me for a moment. Let's analyze Iwuri Bogbe Loko Ifa says, when a fowl drinks water, it will praise God. This was Ifa cast for Adaba Susu when weeping in lamentation of her inability to give birth to children. She was advised to offer elbow. She complied. When a fowl drinks water, it will praise God. This was Ifa cast for Onyagbe, the farmer, when going on his annual farm cultivation mission. He was advised to offer elbow and refuse to comply. Whenever we are speaking, let us consider God. This was the forecast for Alabaoka, the owner of the barn, filled with grains, offspring of he who cultivated his farm for the birds to consume it. He was advised to offer Ebo, but he too refused to comply. All followers of Opwe, let those advised to offer Ebo do so. This verse is so powerful, and the story is even a greater mantra for life. When we think of this, Ifa says in the verse, whenever we are speaking, let us consider God. That says it all. That says it all. In this Odu, Adaba Susu, the dove, was desiring to have children. The problem is that she couldn't have children, and she went for not only for consultation, she went to Orun and spoke to Almighty God. She spoke to Olodumare, and Olodumare gave her the Ashe. And then she was able to conceive and have her own children. Along with this, as soon as Adabasusu gave birth to her kids, she had her children in the nest. And one day the farmer was coming. And the farmer was walking along the road, and he looked up and he saw Adabasusu, the dove, with her kids. And he said, I'm going to cook a pot and use this bird and her kids, and I'm going to cook dumplings with it. It's going to be a great day. I'm going to go back home. I'm going to get my shovel, and I'm going to knock that nest out of the tree. So when Adabasusu heard this, she was alarmed. She went back to Olodumare. She said, Olodumare, the farmer has said he's going to kill me and my children and consume us. And Olodumare said, did he mention me? She said, no. Olodumare said, don't worry, it will be just fine. And this certain death that was placed on Adabasusu was then alleviated, because as the farmer was coming back with all his accoutrements and all his weapons, he was bitten by a snake. And the snake poison almost killed him. It took him out of movement, out of commission for weeks. When he finally was able to heal, he went out to go kill the dove and her children, and he got word that day that his mother was dying. And he went there and tried to nurse his mother. He nursed her, he dealt with her. He did this for weeks and months, to the degree where eventually she passed. And then he had to take on the process of burying her. And as a result of all those challenging things that the farmer experienced, he went for Ifa consultation, cast Ifa, and Iwori Bogbe came. The Babalao told him, you need to put Olodumare in everything you do. What does that mean? By the grace of Olodumare, today is going to be a good day. Are you able to come to the party? By the grace of Olodumare, I will come to the party. That is what he did. And so when he went back and he saw Adabasusu in her nest, he said, I am going to have all these nice sized doves with some nice dumplings. Oh, by the grace of Olodumare, I will have this done. And Adabasusu and her children heard this, but by this time, all of her babies were big enough to fly on their own. And they took flight and left the nest. What is Ifa saying? Man and humanity plans. God is the best of planners. Man and humanity, men and women offer Ebo, and we think, yeah, it's about to happen. And there may be a delay. It may be a delay in such time of the manifestation where we think, it's not going to happen. We have a plan, but God has an even greater plan. The plan of Olodumare is beyond us. We don't know. So, in our planning, we think we have power. It is the illusion of our power. So, in Iworibombe, Ifa is saying, instead of thinking you got all the power, defer to the source. Defer to Olodumare. With the grace of Olodumare, I will do this. With the grace of God, this will happen. With the grace of God, that will occur. In this regard, source is God. In all regards, source is God. Let us conclude with this verse of Obarete. Ifa says, Pumusere, our resident Awo of Agbani Regun, he was the Awo cast Ifa for Agbani Regun, the Oloja of Oriole, when they woke up and declared that they would never pay reverence to Ifa. It is those who pay reverence who are blessed with wealth. It is those who pay reverence who are blessed with compatible spouse. It is those who pay reverence who are blessed with good children. It is those who pay reverence are those who are blessed with longevity. The needle is it that walks with eye and nose. These read Fa's declarations for Foribale ki ori ire, meaning bow down your head and receive all ire of life. When we have used our head to touch the ground and we die no more. Obarete, the Ori of the Awo has been blessed with longevity. This is such a beautiful verse. Foribale ki orire, bow down your head. Foribale, and receive all before Orisha. When we put our head down before Ifa, when we put our head down before the Irumole, and most importantly, when we put our head down before Olodumare, this is paying reverence. This is removing the mask. We need a place where we can recharge. We need a place where we can get comfortable, where we can take off the trappings of the world and be vulnerable. Vulnerable before God. When you bow down your head to your Ikim, you are showing respect. And as you show that respect, you will then be blessed. When you do not show that respect, when you think the blessing is coming from you, when you have made the plan and the plan ain't going your way, then you can't receive the E-ray because you don't see the possibility of what is coming. Put your head down before Allah. In closing, I have a couple of questions and a couple of responses. The first is, if you are not strong, where is your power? When you are not strong, where is your power? So many times we are beaten down by the world, by challenging situations, the most challenging situations and attacks by people who mean us absolutely no good. Where is your power? Because you can only hold so much. You can only hold so much. I remember years ago, uh, one of my mentors in college, Dr. Joan Cornwell, I remember she was speaking one time and she said, she was talking about being a woman. And she said, I'm not strong, but I have power. And the concept of that shifted my mind a bit because in order to have power, you have to be plugged into something because power is beyond strength. Power is the ability to think it and manifest it, to say it, and it is done. Strength is the ability to shoulder the burden. You shouldn't want to, you shouldn't have to shoulder the burden. So if you are not strong, where is your power? And as I say this, I also must say it's okay to be weakened. It's okay to find yourself in a state of weakness, but it is a fallacy for us to feel as though we are powerless. Tap into power. Tap into source. As I close, I got some suggestions and some points. First point for this sermon is submit to God. Submit to Olodumare. And removing that mask, removing that illusion of strength, tap into source. Tap into the real power. That's one. Number two, it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to seek guidance. It is okay to say, you know what, I don't know. I don't know how I'm going to proceed. It's hard right now. Can you help me? Along with that asking for help, it's important to have the ability to take the mask off because three, saving face leads to burnout. To save face, okay, I'm gonna uphold this lie. I'm gonna save face. Oh well, we're gonna say this happened instead of what actually happened in order to save myself the embarrassment. Saving face leads to burnout. Sometimes making a mistake, revealing vulnerability, and so on. When we do this and ask for help, we open ourselves up for new possibilities. And we say, man, you know, and I'm not gonna save face. You know, I want to open myself up to some possibilities that I don't readily have because if I'm thinking in this way, I'm going to be rigid. There's no need to save face, particularly in front of the right people. That's number four. Make a friend. Find people or a person that you trust. We gotta have folks that we trust. And we gotta have people who we can make conversation and make certain deposits into, right? We have to be able to lean on each other. That's the purpose of community. If you don't have a person or people or community that you can trust in order to communicate even your woes or what's going on or even ask for help, then you need to find them because you need to have your support system to remove the facade. 5, rest. Sometimes you need to stop moving. Sometimes you need to chill out. Sometimes you need to just be like, I ain't doing nothing today. Don't rush. Don't create impossible deadlines. Don't create unrealistic goals. Stop. Rest. Rejuvenate. Sometimes what's on the agenda? Nothing. Nothing is on the agenda. I'm chilling. Sometimes it needs to be that way. I would venture to say, more often than not, it needs to be that way. And this leads me to the last point of removing that mask. Because sometimes we wear the mask of a people pleaser and a yes person. And the last point is say no. You don't always have to be the one to say yes all the time. You don't have to be the one to do what other people won't do. You got other stuff to do. Just, I say, man, can you? I can't. I remember there was a song, I'm not going to be able to do it. And you got to say, I'm not going to be able to do that. And the people who really love you, respect you, when you say, man, I'm not going to be able to do that, they'll value it. Say no sometimes. Trust me. All of these things sum up the process by which we really, 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 really should begin to just tear that mask off, because not tearing it off is tearing us up. And I am for healing. I want to be whole and healthy and healed. So I'm asking us to do those 6 homework assignments. Follow those 6 points and remove that mask before that mask becomes your prison. Boru Aboye. Thank you all for joining us today. As you can see, this is going to be a simulcast. This is a pre-recorded simulcast, so please, please still send your shout outs. Tap in with us. Also, you can reach me. You can reach me at the phone number below or at the website. Itaro Boom happened this week. I believe Itaro Boom was Wednesday. So, in terms of that, as Itaro Boom was Wednesday, the Odu was Erete Meji. We've offered the above, but if you would like to participate, please make your contributions. Also, if you like what we're doing here at Idinka, please donate. Please like and share. If this ministry is ministering to you, support it. Help us to grow, help us to develop, and do the thing. Last but not least, we are in McDonough, the work of Olodumare there. And please join us. With that being said, we also have an EFI training program, the Omoawo program, and you are welcome to participate in it. If any of you are interested, we have an EFI training program where we train people who are initiated to EFI to be fully functional, ethical awos, Ianifa, and Babalawo. So if you would like to start that process, we're here and we're welcoming you for the journey. Once again, I want to thank everyone for joining us today, and let us end with prayer. Olodumare, we thank you for life, health, strength, food, clothing, and shelter. We ask that you will continue to push away death, push away sickness, cases, controversy, ward off fights, ward off despair and defeat, and bring to us long life, wealth, good spouses, good children, peace of mind, joy, healing, victory, and all good things of life. We thank you, Lord. Help us to continue to remove the facade and reveal our vulnerabilities to you and to the right people. Aboru, Aboye, Aboshishe, Aboto. We love you and we thank you.